Right, let's move on and talk about UFO Moviez. This is a stock that is up 5% when the markets are not doing much. We have the management of UFO Moviez joining us now. We have Kapil Agarwal, the JMD of UFO Moviez, joining us from Mumbai. Mr. Agarwal, thanks so much for being with us on NDTV Profit. The stock price has moved up well. There's a lot of buzz about the release of Baahubali 2. What will be the impact on your company from this big ticket release?
I think there are two impacts of Baahubali 2 which we expect in the company. One, this movie is going to go into a record number of screens and which will be much higher than Baahubali 1. So obviously, you know, we gain from charging the virtual print fee, which is on a per screen or a per show basis. So more the number of screens, the higher is the first week fee that we charge. So that goes straight to the bottom line. The second is the advertising revenue. Normally for a regional movie, means a southern movie releasing in North India or in the Hindi market, we don't see too much of traction in the advertising revenue. But there is a lot of hype about Baahubali 2 and we are seeing a lot of traction, record traction actually in the advertising revenue for this film. So second benefit we'll be having from the advertising revenue.
All right, can you put it in numbers? How much are you seeing this release going to add to your top line and your bottom line?
Top line is, you see, the advertising revenue. Normally, as I said, that the top advertising revenue we have seen are in movies like Dangal or Sultan, and this kind of movies attract the advertising revenue of anywhere from 7-8 crore to 10-12 crores for the movie in couple of weeks of running of the movie, and that is the kind of traction which we are seeing. But it is early to say numbers because we get a lot of advertising revenue at the last minute. So till today evening we'll be getting the revenue. So, and in the advertising revenue, whatever we get, almost between 50 and 55% goes directly to our bottom line. So that is the kind of traction that we are seeing.
Right. When it comes to the advertising growth, other than Baahubali, what are the other big ticket properties that are lined up? What kind of growth are you expecting during this year?
Well, this is a very interesting year because, like every 1 or 2 months there is a Khan movie which is coming, like Tubelight of Salman Khan is coming in June, then in August there is a Shah Rukh Khan movie, The Ring, then in October there is Amir Khan movie, then in December again there is a Salman Khan movie. So there is a bunch of movies apart from movies like Sarkar, Toilet with Akshay Kumar, Jagga Jasoos. So very interesting lineup actually this year. So we expect a good growth in the advertising revenue this year, and these movies are coming intermittently, at a good interval. So consistently you can keep performing.
Right. When it comes to your cinema distribution network and in-cinema advertising platforms, are you looking to expand your reach from what you have at this point of time?
Yeah, so we have, we had around 5,100 screens, which has been more or less growth because only the new screen growth which is coming, which is barely 2% per year in the country, and that only gets added to the network. But recently also we entered into a strategic tie-up with a company called UMW, which was another digital cinema service provider, which has close to 300 plus screens. And these screens now have been added to our advertising network. So straight away in one go, we have expanded our advertising network by 300 screens and the total screens on our network. Although we will not be managing their digital distribution program, but it will be now equipped with our server and our technology, all their theaters, and we will be doing the advertising of all those theaters. So that is one big leap that we have taken 300 screens addition.
And when it comes to the video on demand business, what is lined up now this year?
What is that, video on demand?
Yes. Yes, I'm talking about the video on demand service.
Sorry, I didn't follow. You said video on demand.
Yes.
But we are not in the video on demand business at all. We are mainly in the cinema business. We only have a small business which is Club X, which we give the first day show for the high net worth individual homes. But that is a very marginal business. We have barely 300 installations in the country, and that's a very small business for us.
Right. So you explained about the movie pipeline and how things are likely to go ahead, which could lead to a lot of business momentum for you. Can you just talk about the collections, the movie spend also that is increasing? Do you think that movies would start to make much more money on an individual basis?
I think the line is lost.
Right, I think there is a problem with the network over there. UFO Moviez, as we were talking to the management, is still up 5%. They were talking about Baahubali, they were talking about what sort of expectation is there on the ad spend over there, and plus what sort of movement is happening as far as their entire pipeline is concerned, which could be positive for the company and the sector as a whole. UFO Moviez is up close to about 5% right now. Recently they have done a deal. Recently they have looked at the numbers. So let's see what happens. What we'll do is we'll take a break. We'll come back in 2 minutes. Hopefully we'll have the management on the other side of this break. The management of UFO is still with us. Sir, you explained us about the pipeline that is there and how it can impact the business. We recently spoke to the management at PVR, and they were quite clear that the spend per movie, the number of spend is likely to increase. So say if the box office collections of some of these movies hit a record high, or the new benchmark becomes higher, how does that impact a business, or how would that impact a business of UFO Moviez?
In every which way, because our two revenue streams, we have three revenue streams, out of which two revenue streams are directly linked to how well a movie does. One is as I said, the virtual print fee, because we charge on a pay-per-show basis from the distributors. Now, more the number of shows run, the more revenue we make on that network. Now, when there is more revenue on a movie makes, which means there are more eyeballs, there are more footfalls who are watching that movie. The number of tickets sold goes up, and which directly impacts our advertising revenue. The higher the eyeballs, the higher the revenue we make. So both the things, with good lineup of movies, with good box office collection or box office performance of any movie, we make good money on that.
Right. Even ad spends increase quite significantly.
Yes, ad spends, ad spend is always done or always booked on the perception of a movie. Like for example, Baahubali. Baahubali is a South Indian movie. So on a South Indian dubbed movie in the North India, in the Hindi market, at least, people are not very enthusiastic about the ad spends. But now the hype of Baahubali is so good that there is a whole lineup of advertisers for Baahubali 2. And it is giving actually competition to the likes of Sultan and Dangal, which were the best performing movies in India, 300 crore plus collection. So that is where we benefit very directly. And with a good lineup of movies this year, as I said, so people put money on the movie on the perception of the movie. And since there is a good lineup, perception is good of those movies. Right from, as I said, there are two Salman Khan movies, there is a Shah Rukh Khan movie, there is an Amir Khan movie, there is Akshay Kumar movie, there is Jagga Jasoos, there is Sarkar 3, there is Rabta. So, all good actors movies are lined up this year, which is going to benefit in the advertising business.
Right. City covers your company quite extensively, and one of their key risk or lower risk for your company which they highlight, if you could just explain us that. We do however acknowledge that the exhibitor's profitability depends upon the performance of the movies at the box office, unlike a player like UFO where the content risk is very low. Can you just explain this point for us?
The content, we have disassociated ourselves either from the exhibitor profitability or the content risk. So what we do is that we charge a fixed rental, third revenue stream from the exhibitor. So whether the movie works or not, we charge a consistent fixed rental for the equipment and for the services that we provide from the exhibitor. So we are insulated on the performance of the movie. Second revenue stream that we have is we charge on a pay per show basis from the distributor. So now what happens is that if the movie does well, more shows run, he pays us more. If the movie doesn't do that well, then he pays us less. But there are between 30 and 35 movies released every week. So theaters are not going to sit idle. So if one movie doesn't do well because of digital technology, the theater starts running another movie. So the shows run, and we have delinked it from the number of people sitting in the theater. We charge on a per show basis, where there are 10 people, 100 people or 500 people in the theater. So we have completely insulated ourselves, our business model, from the footfalls or the success of a movie. So both ways we are secure, and that is where we have created a very decent business model for our company. And that's where we are not affected. We have been constantly growing in last 5 years.
Right. Sir, thank you so much for taking out time for us. Always interesting to chat, and hope to chat with you once the Q4 numbers are released and what essentially was the performance of some of the big banner movies during this quarter. So that's the management of UFO Moviez, one of the buzzing stocks today, up around 5% right now. We'll soon get the management at Lakshmi Vilas as well. They also declared their numbers. That's also a buzzing stock. It's, I think, down close to about 3 to 4 odd percent.